In the dark realm beyond the reach of men, a furious growl shook the shadows. 30 days! The Queen Mother bellowed, her voice echoing like thunder. I haven't received my sacrifice in 30 days. Whose turn is it? A trembling voice cried out.
Please, my queen, give me time.
It was Nhaire on his knees, weeping, but mercy was foreign in this realm. With a hiss, the Queen Mother spat a fiery stream of wriggling maggots straight at him. This will eat you alive, she growled, if you don't fulfill your end of the deal. Before she could finish, her elongated fingers snatched him and threw him into the giant boiling pot. Nhaire screamed, and then he jolted awake, soaked in sweat, panting like a dog. Now, grab your popcorns because this story will leave you on the edge of your seats. If beauty could buy a mansion, Nwakego would own an estate in Banana Island. Her real name was Nwakego, but nobody ever called her that. Na ego with a column, her friends would say with laughter, because her eyes they took for money. Ego was that kind of girl who never hid her feelings. I know fit suffer with man I beg, she always said with pride. If you no get money, no disturb my peace. I know they date small boys. I be big girl. At Ahmadu Bello University, she was known for her beauty. Ego was stunning, dark, shiny skin, curvy hips that swayed like a cobra in motion, eyelashes that beated with purpose, lips redder than tomato ketchup. She walked around campus like she owned it. To her, single guys were a waste of lip gloss. But despite all her shakara and makeup, Ego somehow attracted the same type of men: Okada riders, apprentices, and one mechanic who once tried to propose to her with a spanner. She hated it. God, I beg. What is this now? Where my big fish dey? She would ask the mirror every night while prepping her face for sleep. Ego believed her body was gold. She didn't want love. She wanted luxury. The kind of man who would fly her to Dubai, send her 2 million naira for her, and call her my baby with one hand while transferring millions with the other. But the big fish never came. One hot Thursday afternoon, Ego was standing by the school gate waiting for a cab to take her to Samaru Market when a sleek black Toyota Venza with tinted windows cruised slowly past her. The car glided like royalty through dust and noise, then came to a stop just a few feet from her. Ego's eyes locked on the car. Something about it screamed soft life. The passenger door opened and out stepped a lady in a flowing black abaya, her face hidden behind a designer shade. She moved gracefully with quiet confidence, like she had no business with the hustle of student's life. Ego's mouth parted slightly. Wait, what be Zima be this? Yes, it was Zima. The same quiet girl in her department, the same girl who wore light makeup, never posted on Instagram, and barely spoke. She wasn't even half as fine as Ego, yet here she was, stepping down from a Venza, looking untouched by dust or stress. Ego's eyes scanned the car. That wasn't her father. She watched as the Venza smoothly drove off, the man behind the wheel invisible behind the tinted glass. Zima didn't wave. She didn't look back. She just adjusted her abaya and calmly walked into the school like nothing happened. Ego was frozen in place. A sting hit her chest like pepper. This pomo-lipped girl they enter Venza, and me, fine babe, I still did drag keke with macchiato men. Her hand tightened on her phone as a loud keke finally pulled up beside her. The driver shouted,
Samaru, Samaru.
She climbed in silent, furious, jealous as the keke rattled down the road. Ego wasn't thinking about what she was going to buy anymore. She was thinking about Zima, about the man in the Venza, about how unfair the world could be. If Mama Lips fit pull Venza, me we find dying call. Ego knew she had to act because if she didn't level up soon, she would be left behind. After the Venza incident, Ego couldn't get Zima out of her head. The image of her stepping down like a silent queen haunted her. She needed answers. She needed access. So she began to draw closer. Not too fast, not forcefully, just enough to become familiar. It began subtly. Ego started greeting Zima more often in class. She would reserve a seat for her in crowded lecture halls. "Zima, come sit here. I kept this space for you." And Zima would smile calmly, politely, and sit. Then Ego upped her game. She graduated to after-class chats under the mango tree by Queen Amina block. Zima didn't talk much, but she never pushed Ego away either. Something quiet and strange about her made Ego even more curious. Before long, they started attending lectures together, walking back to the hostel together, eating at the same spot in front of the faculty. A friendship began to grow. To an outsider, they were just classmates bonding. But in truth, Ego was studying Zima like an exam question, and as the bond grew, so did her observation. Zima wasn't one bit loud or flashy, but nothing about her was cheap. Her perfumes, original and exotic, her abayas, clean, elegant, designer grade, her bags, quietly expensive. Zima didn't post on social media like others. She didn't brag, but her aura screamed, "I'm not your mate." Ego watched. Ego calculated. This girl no dey formal, but she dey chop life past me where they make noise. One cool Saturday afternoon, Ego made her move. She visited Zima's room with the excuse of just checking up on her. They gisted about school and that one lecturer who always wore one tie like it was a uniform. They laughed, shared snacks, then slowly Ego brought it up. "Babe," she said, adjusting her legs. "Abeg, show me the way." Zima raised the brow. "Which way?" Ego gave a nervous laugh. "Don't pretend. You know what I mean." Zima tilted her head, still firmly not understanding. Ego sighed. Then she poured it out. "See, I am tired. I seem to attract only poor campus boys with 500 naira mentality. But you roll with big men with their money they smell. I want to be on your level, I beg, Zima. I want to be like you." The room went silent. Zima's eyes stayed on Ego for a long time. She didn't blink. She didn't smile. "I don't know what you're talking about," Zima said coldly. Ego's stomach dropped. "Zima, I beg. I am serious. You don't need to give me details. Just help me. I'm tired of pretending. Help me upgrade now. I beg, my sister." There was a long silence. Then, finally, Zima looked up. Her face was unreadable. "Come back tomorrow," she said quietly. "I will take you somewhere." Ego's heart skipped. "Where?" "You'll see." And just like that, the deal was sealed. Ego left the room with a million thoughts in her head. She didn't know where Zima would take her, but deep down, she was sure her life was about to change. Ego barely slept that night. She kept turning on her bed, imagining where Zima would take her. Maybe it was a secret mansion in Kaduna. Maybe a coded party where senators meet slay queens. Or maybe, just maybe, Zima would hand her the number of a powerful Zadi that will change her destiny. By 6:30 a.m., Ego was already dressed, hair slicked down, perfume loud, makeup on point. Even her lashes were extra long. She wore her best jeans and a body-hugging black top. If opportunity would show face, she had to look ready. Zima didn't say a word when she saw Ego. She simply nodded and led the way. They boarded a keke, then a cab. The journey was quiet, too quiet. Ego kept asking, "Where are we going?" Zima's only reply, "You'll see." Eventually, they turned off the main road and entered a narrow bush path that led to a quiet settlement on the outskirts of Zaria. The air was different there, cold, silent, and thick with something Ego couldn't explain. They stopped in front of a small raffia-fenced compound. The gate was black and old, but clean. No signboard, no security, just a carved wooden symbol at the top. Something that looked like a snake curled around the stick. Zima knocked 3 times. Slowly, deliberately, the gate creaked open. A woman stood there, tall, dark, and draped in all white. Her eyes were sharp, too sharp. She didn't smile. "Itache?" she asked. Zima nodded. "Hey, Mama." Mama Azara looked Ego up and down like she could see through her clothes and into her thoughts. "Kushigo," she said. Ego hesitated, just for a second, but the desire in her chest pushed her forward. She stepped inside. The house smelled of ancient herbs and something unexplainable. On the shelves were bottles of oils, powders, charms, and something that looked like dried tongues. Zima sat quietly in the corner. Mama Azara said nothing for a while. Then she turned to Ego. You want big men to chase you, Ko? You want them to forget their wives and kneel before you. You want power. You want influence. Luxury. Ego nodded slowly, her mouth dry. Yes, Mama, I want all. Mama Azara walked over to her. She placed her fingers on Ego's forehead and whispered something in a strange tongue. Ego's eyes flickered. The room felt like it spun. Your beauty is your bait, but bait must be sharpened. Mama Azara said, I will give you something, but you must use it wisely. She disappeared into a back room and returned holding a small black leather pouch tied with red threads. She placed it in Ego's hands. Inside were 3 small bottles, one filled with thick red oil, another with golden perfume, and a third containing black coal. Wrapped separately in a silk cloth were tiny sweets, almost like candy but made from ancient herbs. Apply the oil every night, she said. Use the perfume behind your ears and in between your thighs before you sleep with the man of your choice. Trace your eyes lightly with the coal. Let your gaze speak before your mouth does. And when you meet the one you want, break the sweet in your mouth before you speak. He will not be able to resist you. Ego held the pouch close to her chest like treasure, but then Mama Azara's face grew stern. Never, she said, her voice low and firm. Never use this on a man whose source of wealth you are not sure of. Ego blinked, confused. Why? Because when the river meets the forest, one must bow. If you bow to the wrong spirit, you will never rise again. The warning sat heavy in Ego's chest, but her hunger for the soft life was louder. When she got home, she untied the pouch and stared at the strange contents inside. She smiled to herself and whispered, Big fish, here I come. The next day, Ego moved like a woman reborn. She followed Mama Azara's instruction to the latter. She rubbed the oil, feeling her skin tingle with something she couldn't explain. She dabbed the golden perfume behind her ears and thighs. It smelled ancient, seductive, dangerous. Then, she traced her eyes with a black coal, watching her reflection transform. Her gaze became deeper, sharper, like it could speak without words. Finally, she slipped the tiny sweet into her handbag, just in case she needed to melt a man's heart on the spot. When she stepped out of her hostel, heads turned. Even the sun paused for a second. Everything about her shimmered. The air around her changed. It wasn't just her looks. It was something spiritual. Magnetic. That evening, she followed Zima to a coded lounge in the outskirts of Zaria, the type only money and secrets could enter. The bouncers didn't ask them questions. They were ushered in like queens. Inside, the lights were low, the music was soft, and the air smelled like wealth and wickedness. That was when she saw him. He sat alone at a VVIP corner, wearing a white kaftan that looked like it had never touched dust. His wristwatch flashed once under the chandelier, a Richard Mille. Ego's throat dried. That watch alone could pay her rent for 10 years. Zima whispered, That's Alhaji Bako. He looked older, maybe mid-50s, but his skin was smooth and his eyes were sharp. He had the presence of a man who had dined with the gods, and the moment his eyes landed on Ego, they stayed there. He tilted his glass in her direction and smiled. Zima leaned in and whispered, Now, use what you were given. Ego's hand reached into her purse. Slowly, calmly, she slipped one of the sweets into her mouth. The herb dissolved on her tongue like fire and honey. Then she walked across the room and sat opposite Chief Bako, crossing her legs slowly like she had done it all her life. Good evening, Chief, she said, her voice laced with charm. He smiled.
Evening? No, this is the beginning of a new day.
He signaled the waiter, ordered the most expensive wine. By the time they were halfway through the second bottle, Chibako was already leaning in like a schoolboy in love. That night, Ego didn't return to her hostel. She followed Chibako to a private suite in the 5-star hotel. Her laughter echoed in the hallway. She had done it. She had finally caught her big fish. In the suite, he kicked off his shoes and began undressing, humming to himself.
Baby, make yourself comfortable.
He said, already loosening his wristwatch. Ego gave him a small smile and excused herself. Inside the bathroom, her hands worked like magic. She squatted carefully and sprayed the golden perfume between her thighs, letting it soak into her skin. She stood up, faced the mirror and rubbed a thin layer of the oil over her cheeks and forehead. Her skin shimmered, her eyes glowed. She looked like temptation. Let's see if this charm truly works, she whispered, smiling to her reflection. When she stepped back into the room, Alhaji Bako froze. His eyes widened with hunger, his lips parted, and like a moth drawn to fire, he rushed toward her, laughing like a man who had just found a hidden treasure.
Wallahi, you're not ordinary.
He mumbled, grabbing her waist, and just like that, he slept with her. No games, no struggle. By morning, Alhaji handed her an envelope thick with cash.
Take this, my baby. I want to see you again,
he said, planting a sloppy kiss on her hand. Ego smiled sweetly. Of course, Alhaji. And that was how it began. Ego's phone rang less for small boys and more for big men with deep pockets and secrets. But as her account balance grew, something else quietly started shifting around her, something she couldn't yet see. Within 2 weeks, Ego's life did a somersault. She was no longer the fine girl begging Keke for space or squeezing into campus cabs with the rest of the crowd. Her shoes clicked different now. Her bags, designer. Her nails, always done. Her perfume, the kind that left whispers behind. Her wardrobe changed overnight. No more cheap jeans or fast fashion Ankara. Now it was lace tops, silk dresses and imported wigs. And her hostel, please, that cramped corner in her school hostel was no longer for someone like her. Ego moved to Queen Amina's Lodge, a legendary off-campus apartment reserved for big girls. The rent was ridiculous, the interior like a mini hotel. Nobody asked questions there. Everyone minded their business, and that was exactly what Ego wanted. Ego stopped attending lectures regularly. Why stress over classes when Alhaji Bako was paying her steadily? She still came around campus, but only for quick appearances, just enough to remind people she was still around. Her classmates began to talk. Not be the same Ego wey broke before. She don't upgrade overnight oh. If it be jazz oh. But Ego didn't care. Far away from the glam, far away from the world of men, deep in the belly of darkness, 6 short round men stood in a perfect circle. They were dressed in black hoods that covered their faces, their hands folded behind their backs, breathing as one. The air was thick with blood and incense, fire burned from skull-shaped balls. Strange markings danced along the floor like they were alive. Before them, seated on a throne carved from skulls, was their leader, the Queen Mother. Her skin was the color of dried charcoal. Her eyes were golden and unblinking. Her body shimmered with scales and cracked skin that pulsed like fire under glass. But the most terrifying part wasn't her size or her voice. It was her head. Instead of hair, she had snakes, their tongues flicking at the air as though sniffing the fear in the room. Who summoned the throne of death? She asked, her voice echoing like 1,000 whispers. One of the hooded men stepped forward. He dropped to his knees with both hands raised.
Great Queen Mother, ruler of realms seen and unseen, I beg for mercy.
Speak! The Queen Mother hissed.
I know I have failed. I know my time is short. But no one has agreed to lick my souls or even sleep with me in this condition. I have tried. I have begged. I have seduced. But they all run away. Please, I need more time.
The Queen Mother leaned forward. The snakes on her head slitted and snarled, their yellow eyes glowing like cursed lanterns. Then she let out a deep, thunderous laugh that shook the walls. And how is that my business, Dandhairi? She growled. Did I not give you 10 years of glory, 10 years of wealth, respect, and soft skin? You failed to bring your sacrifice, and now you crawl like a dog.
I'm sorry.
He whispered, bowing deeper.
Please, just give me one more chance.
You have 30 days, the Queen Mother said. her voice turning cold. 30 days to find a woman bold enough to sleep with you or lick your sore and seal the covenant. If you fail, your soul will rot, your body will decay, and your name will vanish from memory. The other hooded members burst into eerie, high-pitched laughter, the kind that didn't sound human. Their voices echoed and danced around the chamber like mad spirits. Alhaji Danhaire trembled, eyes wide, his mouth dry with dread. Then, whoosh! In a flash of black smoke, his figure vanished. Back in the heart of Abuja, inside a luxurious bedroom lined with velvet curtains and golden lamps, a body jolted up on a silk-covered bed. Alhaji Danhaire. He gasped, sweat pouring from his forehead. His chest heaved, his heart raced. He looked around wildly. The curtains fluttered even though the windows were closed. The air was still, but deep inside him, he knew the clock had started ticking. As days passed, Alhaji Danhaire found it difficult to sleep. Every time he shut his eyes, he saw the Queen Mother's snake hair hissing in the dark, her golden eyes glowing like doom. The words haunted him. You have 30 days to offer your sacrifice or die. He had spent the last 5 days searching for a woman. Any woman bold enough to sleep with him or even lick the festering sores on his head. He had tried everything, sugar-coated lies, bundles of cash, promises of visa, cars, luxury apartments. But once they saw the state of his scalp, they screamed and fled like they had seen death itself. And truly, maybe they had. One evening, while driving home from his office in Maitama, pain hit him like thunder. His vision blurred, sweat poured down his back, his head pounded like a war drum. His driver asked if they should stop at the hospital.
No!
He snapped, voice shaking.
Just take me home.
The moment they got home, Alhaji rushed to his bathroom, locked the door and collapsed in front of the mirror. He tore off his cap with trembling hands. What he saw made his knees buckle. Maggots, tiny white creatures wiggling inside his sauce, feasting on his scalp like it was grilled meat. He let out a sharp gasp, clutched the sink and almost passed out.
No, no, no!
He whispered in horror.
It's getting worse.
His heart pounded with dread. He knew the truth. The more his head decayed, the harder it will be to convince anyone to come close to him. And if the rod spread too far, not even his money would save him. That night, as pain gripped his skull and the smell of decay filled his nostrils, he made a call. This story is about to take a different twist. Just make sure you're subscribed to this channel.